Hi, I'm Tina. And I'm Caitlin, and we're from Miss James's class.
Hi, I'm Anna.
Hey, I'm Price, and we're from Miss Rodriguez's class.
And we're doing the voice thread on 3 Cups of Tea.
Chapters 1 through 12. Chapter 1. There is a telling passage about Mortison's change of direction at the start of the book. One evening he went to bed by a Yuk Dung fire, a mountaineer who had lost his way, and one morning by the time he'd shared a pot of butter tea with his hosts and laced up his boots, he became a humanitarian who'd found a meaningful path to follow for the rest of his life. What made Mortison particularly ripe for such a transformation? Has anything similar happened in your own life?
What made him ripe for his transformation to becoming a humanitarian was that his sister had died and he had become thankful for life. Something similar to that has occurred in my life. I sure didn't become a humanitarian, but this was when my brother and his family moved into my house. I realized how many things I had taken for granted and started being more conservative with so my family and I could share what we had.
How is building schools in Pakistan similar to climbing a mountain? What did Mortison learn about his failed attempt in Summit 2, K2?
Building schools in Pakistan is similar to climbing a mountain because they are both difficult to accomplish. Mortison learned that there is a better way to honor his sister's memory. Even though he tried really hard to accomplish his goals, he always had that thought in his mind that he might fail and not accomplish it. But he still persevered.
Why do you think the villagers in Corby was so excited about getting their own school? What is unique about having that school as opposed to other things Mortison could have built, like hospitals or community centers?
The villagers in Corby were excited to get their own schools because they wanted a better future for their children, and they couldn't afford proper schooling without Mortison. Kids are our future, and without them and their education, no one could help other people in the future. It's better that he built a school instead of a hospital because if the children learn about medicine and they could further on in their lives, they could build a hospital, a good hospital, and they could have better than what they would have if they would have built just a hospital instead of a school.
Chapter 4. Towards the end of the chapter, the author states, how could he convince Americans to care about a circle of children sitting in the cold on the other side of the world, scratching at their lessons in the dirt with sticks? Do you think Mortison is simply an exceptional person, or can anyone make a difference like this with enough commitment?
I believe that anyone can make a difference with this if they have the motivation. Mortison chose to build a school. Someone else can do that just as well. I mean, as long as you have the motivation inside of you, it doesn't matter what physical aspects you have, but it's just as long as you have that motivation, anyone can do it.
Chapter 5. In a book published in 1964, Sir Edmund Hillary wrote, slowly and painfully, we are seeing worldwide acceptance of the fact that the wealthier and more technologically advanced countries have a responsibility to help. Advanced countries have a responsibility to help the undeveloped ones. Do you agree or disagree? Explain.
I agree, because countries should help the less fortunate countries that don't have as much money, and I believe that because it could end up actually returning the favor for us in return. So we could form allies, and it could kind of like karma, it could help us out. Yeah.
For years, Mortison had known intellectually that the word Muslim means literally to submit. And like many Americans who worshipped at the temple of rugged individualism, he had found the idea dehumanizing. In what ways does Mortison adapt to Muslim culture? What's your reaction to this?
what different reactions did or might his adoption provoke within the Muslim community?
Well, he started drinking a lot of tea. He grew a beard and started wearing the Muslim robe. And he actually started like worshiping the Muslims. And this kind of, I actually kind of expected this because he was surrounded by Muslims. And like, I guess he wasn't very in touch with his Christian or whatever religion he was. Can you repeat the second half of the question?
In what ways does Morrison adapt to Muslim culture? What's your reaction to this? What different reactions did or might his adoptions provoke within the Muslim community?
Well, it could have a lot of effects on the Muslim community. People could admire him for switching his religion to a Muslim religion, or they could hate him for not originally being a Muslim. But yeah, I guess that's the effects he could have on the Muslim community.
Chapter 7. Not for the first time, Mortensen wondered if Pakistan wasn't more of an idea than a country. Explain what he means by this.
Morrison meant that Pakistan is not a united country, and it's made up of many different tribes instead of just one major one, and that made him wonder about things.
Chapter 8. How did K2 get its name? Why is it significant to the story?
A British engineer, a royal engineer, discovered it, and his name was T.J. Montefiore, and he discovered it for the K2 mountain.
It was originally, it's like the cousin of the K1 mountain, which was the first mountain that was discovered in Karakamia. But yeah.
Okay,
So next
chapter 9. Morrison hit many bumps in the road. He's broke his girlfriend dumps him. He is forced to build a bridge before he can build the school. He puts on weight and drives his family crazy. Discuss his repeated brushes with failure and how they influenced your opinion of Morrison and his efforts.
He pretty much comes face to face with failure many, many times. However, he keeps going. Even though he keeps going through speedy bumps, he hasn't considered giving up building the schools. My opinion of Morrison is that he's not a quitter and he is determined to get his way.
Chapter 10. The author writes that the Balti held the key to a kind of uncomplicated happiness that was disappearing in the developing world. This peaceful simplicity of life seems to be part of what attracts Morrison to the villagers. Discuss the pros and cons of bringing civilization to a mountain community.
Well, the pros are you could live longer, there's more opportunity, higher chance of knowledge. The cons can be like pollution and increase the stress and higher risk of death.
Chapter 11. When he first read about Greg in the AHF newsletter, he told me, Americans care about Buddhists, not Muslims. Agree or disagree?
I disagree because realistically in America now, Muslims tend to be associated with terrorists. Like, for instance, for 9/11, making Americans care about them more because they're considered a threat.
Chapter 12. Watching the scene straight out of the Bible stories I had learned in Sunday school, I thought how much the different faiths had in common. How you could trace so many of their traditions back to the same root. How is Morrison's insight related to the geography of religion?
Well, way back then, all the religions were pretty much like one. They all shared the same beliefs, but then some people started to branch out, forming new religions and stuff and practicing different things because they started believing other things other than
And
what
different
they were
beliefs. And after they moved from different places, they had
They adapted
fused,
other.
and yeah, they had a